the Senate will hold votes on two bills: the status quo continuing resolution from the Republicans, which will lead to a shutdown, and the Democrats' plan to prevent a shutdown while avoiding a catastrophe in rising health care costs. Tomorrow, Americans will see the glaring contrast between the Republican plan continuing the status quo of Donald Trump's health care cuts and high costs, and the Democratic plan to avoid a shutdown while lowering premiums, fixing Medicaid, and protecting funds for scientific and medical research.
That's Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer digging in against the Republicans' clean CR, demanding COVID health care provisions remain in the bill. The House set to vote on this short-term CR this morning, sending it to the upper chamber if it passes, on to the Senate. Then the Senate will vote on competing plans. Both need 60 votes, both expected to fail. Majority Leader John Thune warning that the Senate is unlikely to return next week. They are on recess for the Rosh Hashanah holiday, meaning the next vote on the GOP stopgap would not happen until September 29th. That is less than 48 hours before a shutdown deadline. The deadline is at the end of the month, the 30th. Joining me now is West Virginia Congressman Riley Moore. He's a member of the House Appropriations Committee. Congressman, what can you tell us? When are you expecting to vote on this, and what is the latest?
Well, thanks, Maria. Yeah, we are going to vote on this clean CR here in the House. We are going to pass that CR here, and we're going to send it over to the Senate. And as you just laid out, there's going to be two competing CRs over there in the Senate, both of which it seems like they're going to fail. But I just want to real quick explain why we're doing this. This is a short-term CR that's going to run from September 30th to November 20th. And the point of that is a stopgap funding measure so we can finish this appropriations process. The House has passed all 12 of our appropriations bills out of committee. We've passed 3 on the floor. They have passed some in the Senate as well. And we had a motion just last week to go to conference. We're trying to bring back regular order. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are trying to continue business as usual. Now, we have the plan to get this done. The question is whether the Democrats want to shut the government down or not. I don't think that makes a lot of sense for anybody here. Now, we saw Chuck Schumer break in this game of brinksmanship in the last go-around, and he actually did the right thing. And we're going to see what happens here. Now, Thune is going to, if the Republican CR goes down in the Senate, he will switch his vote at the end so he can bring that back up.
Well, look, you already have one no in the House. That's Representative Thomas Massie of Kentucky is a public no. This is a 91-page bill. Fairly clean, $88 million for additional security, covering the executive branch, Congress, and the Supreme Court following the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Extending funding for community health centers, the National Health Services Corp, and Medicare telehealth measures. You've also got short-term extensions to expiring critical cybersecurity laws. And yet, your colleagues on the left want more. They want to go back to some COVID spending on health care. Here's your colleague Andrew Clyde with me earlier this week.
I think what he's talking about are the COVID-era subsidies for Obamacare. Not one Republican has ever voted for it. It's a problem. We're not in COVID anymore. So I think this is an issue of what's not in the bill. This is a clean funding or spending freeze, rather, for the next 2 months so that we can get the appropriations process completed.
So if the government runs out of money on Tuesday because the Democrats won't go in on this because of that health care spending, what happens? The Senate's on holiday for the Rosh Hashanah holiday.
Right, and they have that 48 hours when they come back to try to pass this clean CR. And just to be clear, what Chuck Schumer is putting in this bill is $1.4 trillion in additional spending. It's to give health care, again, to illegal immigrants. And we're going to have $500 million for left-wing media organizations in that bill. That's what he wants. That's not the point of this. The point of this is a short-term spending gap so we can finish the appropriations process, which is actually what we're supposed to do, regular order. But that's not, this is a game that he's playing and all this, and he knows that this isn't going to pass. And he's going to go out and message it over the week and say, oh, the Republicans wouldn't agree to our CR, which nobody wants what's in that CR. Andrew Clyde is right. This is a clean CR that we're passing over here in the House. Chuck Schumer's playing games, and the Democrats are playing games with the government right now. And you've seen that time and time again with them. They're not serious, but we are serious over here on this side. And hopefully, and I think they are going to potentially fold here in the end, just like they did on the last one.
You know, one of the issues that Democrats say that they're suspicious of is the $9 billion July rescissions package. And last month's $5 billion pocket rescission in foreign aid. That's why many of them are digging in.
The administration has every right to do rescissions if they want. And they did do those, and we voted on that rescissions package, and it passed. Yep. So there's no tricks here. Yeah. This is the will of the people.
Let me move on, sir, because Senate Republicans have confirmed 48 of President Trump's nominees in a single vote yesterday. After changing Senate rules along party lines, this nuclear option rule allowed the Senate to confirm mid-level executive officials and ambassadors to avoid weeks of individual votes. Congressman, your reaction here, because the word is that the Democrats here, too, have been stalling and sitting on, nominees. And many of these nominees, these ambassadors, these are not controversial people.
No, they're not at all. And part of this package that they're putting forward are U.S. attorneys. It's a huge in block of U.S. attorneys that need to get confirmed and go out there and do their job. At the pace they're going at right now, Donald Trump's nominees would get through perhaps maybe by his last day in office. Now, flashback to the Biden era, where there was bipartisanship and bipartisan support for many of his judicial nominees, not to just mention Ketanji Jackson, who was also confirmed in a bipartisan manner. Wish that one wouldn't have happened, but here we are. So, yes, you have to go to this nuclear option because in the manner in which it's moving right now, it'll never get done. It'll never get done. And some of these are just very kind of low-level appointees that just we need in place to be able to run the federal government.
All right, Congressman, we'll be watching the drama to come in the coming week. We appreciate your time. Congressman Riley Moore joining us. Thanks, sir.